Crystals, what are they? No, seriously, look at all these amazing structures and forms. They're beautiful, they're powerful, and they're life. Crystals are the essence of life manifesting within the earth, the blossoms of the mineralogical portion of the earth. Recognition of these energies and forms of crystals can greatly benefit your personal growth. It is a very basic consciousness, not as intricate or advanced as some life on earth. Crystals definitely don't have the thinking capacity of humans, or even the biological reproductive systems of plants, but they are life. And today I'm going to show you how this works. Crystals are defined as being a mineralogical body with a characteristic internal structure and enclosed by a symmetry of plane faces. They are, however, much more than that. We've discussed before that everything in the universe is a vibration, existing through many different frequencies at once. Our physical bodies are on this physical plane, but the sounds that we hear vibrate to a different frequency, as with smells and even thoughts. Crystals also vibrate to many frequencies at once. Health is the natural state of any form in the universe. Considering the vibrational existence of reality, health comes when the frequencies of anything are in balance and harmony with itself. When patterns of energy are disrupted, we experience a state which we know as disease, which is a body that's not at ease. The resistant, discordant energy patterning is responsible for every negative symptom we experience, everything from headache to cancer. Crystals and gemstones have a vibration that is free of resistant patterns. They are among some of the structures in the physical dimension which have the most balanced, cohesive, strong, and intentional frequencies. Their unchanging physical structure is a reflection of their innate energetic pattern of balance and strength, which are incorruptible. In the physical world, you pick up a crystal and feel it as something separate from you that you're just holding. But on higher frequencies, you're actually interacting with that stone energetically. This interaction then causes changes to your structure and psychology through your own energetic systems. It begins a process of rebalancing the energetic structure of your body, and in a sense, can help you heal. Now, consciousness is of course the determining factor of if you are going to be accepting of these new frequencies coming into your being through crystals. I'm not going to say crystals will heal you, because if you fight them and are non-receptive to these frequencies, you will continue to create the disharmony within yourself. Ultimately though, crystals can be used to retune your whole being back to a state of harmony and flow. Crystals have been used and revered since the dawning of civilization. In fact, the Christian Bible refers to crystals over 200 times. Precious stones were used in the foundation of New Jerusalem. They were also used in the breastplates of Aaron, the Hebrew high priest. Crystals have been discovered in the ruins of Babylonia and in ancient tombs of Egyptian and Chinese rulers. This wouldn't be spirit science without some sacred geometry though. Remember the 5 platonic solids? Science understands that all atomic patterns and molecular structures were based on these 5 forms. They create the forms that the universe manifests through. Well, here's the atomic structure of a beryl crystal. It's the flower of life, the creation pattern flowing through the structure of this crystal. Now, not all crystals are like that molecularly, but they are very geometric. There are 6 categories of crystals. Of course, there are lots and lots and lots of kinds of crystals, but no matter how many there are, they will always be in one of these categories: isometric, tetragonal, hexagonal, orthorhombic, monoclinic, and triclinic. For the most part, all of these systems are derived from the hexahedron, also known as the cube. One of the biggest things about crystals is that they can transmit frequencies. From a metaphysical perspective, we can transmit thoughts and emotions through crystals, but scientifically, does that make sense? Would you believe it if I said that pretty much all of modern computing technology was based on the living element of crystals? Consider the radio. The first radio was a crystal set. They would cut a piece of quartz crystal and touch a wire to it. The frequencies transmitted through the crystal.
The quartz!
That's right. The molecular arrangement, of course, is very stable and has a measurable frequency, and because of this, it can be used in basic technology. Nobel Prize winner Marcel Vogel discovered that crystals can be reprogrammed as silicon chips in a computer, and can also be programmed with the energy of consciousness. He discovered that when a person uses a computer, thoughts are transmitted into the computer by pressing on a keyboard. That information is stored in silicon chips via the medium of electricity. Thought is a form of energy which can be given direction through what we call intention. He concluded, due to this discovery, that crystals could also be programmed without the need for electricity, by using just thoughts as the informational energy. Another interesting find is that quartz is composed of silicon and oxygen, a combination known to geologists as the building block of all minerals. The living element within crystals is silicon. Science found in the 50s that silicon shows the same principles of life as carbon. Exactly 1 octave down on the periodic table from carbon is silicon. Sponges deep in the ocean made from 100% silicon were also discovered, which shows that silicon life doesn't just work in theory, but they actually exist right here on this planet. But get this, the Earth's crust itself is made out of silicon. It's 25% silicon, but silicon bonds with just about everything. So the Earth's crust is actually roughly 80% silicon compound. We're literally floating out in the middle of space on a giant crystal ball. The term Mother Earth never had so much meaning as now, as we learn that the entire planet itself is a conscious, living being. She's aware of you and everything going on her body. The energies within crystals are universal. Therefore, when you connect with a mineral and are open to receiving what it has to offer, and begin to play creatively through your higher self, you can contact and synthesize the energies from which the entire universe is comprised. This is why crystals are so powerful, and why they must only be used through the highest consciousness of the individual. Right intention during the use of crystals further serves to connect your personal energy with that of the crystal kingdom, helping you get to a place of love, of light, and the good of all. Although each and every one of us has an infinite power of the universe within the self, we as humans always like having that support from something external from us. Every crystal form has its own individual energy and its own personality. Each can be used in unique ways to assist one in understanding the nature of existence, or moving forward on our own life path destiny as we're consciously experiencing it. I feel that right now, as people are waking up, we're becoming more and more aware of our ancient knowledge and wisdom. Part of that information that is returning to us is the nature of crystals. I see crystals as being very monumental in the evolution of humankind. They could provide a lot of love, light, and insight for many who are struggling with their own inner demons in this coming time. Things are getting more and more intense, but it's also providing people with the opportunities that they need to raise their own vibrations and frequencies to a level of light and happiness. Healing has to come from within. I'm not going to say that if you just get crystals you'll be happier or smarter or heal better. However, think of it like being with a close friend who really cares about you. They will provide their energy and attention to you to help you find yourself in this time of need. Crystals are like that. They will give you support if you allow them to, and open up your heart to the frequencies that they are emitting. If we consciously recognize that our own electromagnetic fields are impacted by the energetic quality of each crystal and gemstone, we would see that they create an alchemical response within our own bodies and psychology, which would allow us to use them as the powerful tools that they are. We could use them on a daily basis to promote health, awareness, growth, and evolution within ourselves and the multidimensional lives we lead. On my cosmic travels through life, reality, and the universe, I have come across many things. One of the most amazing of these revelations, however, is knowledge about crystals. What they are, we already know. But what can you do with them? Many of you may have crystals already, but without knowing what you can do with them, they just sit on your shelf, influencing your energies from afar. Today, we're going to look at practical uses of crystals in your everyday life. The first thing we need to discuss is how to charge your crystals. Just like us, crystals need sustenance. Well, they won't die if they don't get any, but who doesn't love to be fed? One way of charging your crystals are with bigger crystals. By allowing the smaller crystals to receive energy from the points of the bigger ones, you can also just sit small crystals onto a cluster. However, there is a much easier way. Sunlight. Just as we receive energy from the sun, crystals also receive and recharge under the intensified life force rays of the sun. By letting your crystals spend an afternoon in the sun, they will be bursting with juicy energy for quite a while. Think of crystals like a rechargeable battery, and by leaving it in the sun, it recharges and stores energy to give to you. If it's running on low, the frequencies that it emits will not be as strong as if it would be at a full charge. You can also cleanse your crystals by allowing them to bathe in salt water for a while. If possible, use sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. If you live near the ocean, you can also let them bathe in the ocean itself. You can also sage your crystals, which is very beneficial for cleansing them and keeping them happy. Letting them sit in brown rice for 24 hours centers and grounds the crystals and balances their male and female energies. When you first get your crystals, whether it's through a gift or you dig it up yourself or bought in a store, it's usually important that you dedicate your crystals. This can be done by holding onto it and consciously intend that the crystal only be used for love, light, and the goodness of all. Your chakra system picks up frequencies throughout your whole body, through high frequencies and low frequencies. Most crystals will give off an energy which will resonate to at least one chakra, if not more, which makes them excellent tools for aligning your energy body. One of the easiest ways of using crystals is carrying pocket stones. Carry a crystal of your choosing in your pocket for any amount of time that feels right. If you need a lot of help in one aspect of your life, you might want to carry a certain crystal around with you up for even a month. Then after that time, look back at the month and see if the description of the crystal matches what you experienced. This is actually how I first got into crystals. A friend of mine gave me a crystal and told me to hang on to it for a month. I didn't really get why, but I did. After a month, I found out what that crystal did, and it had been affecting me in the exact ways of the description. After that, I was hooked, and have been exploring crystals ever since. What you experience from working with crystals will be up to you to discern, but many report crystals magnifying one's personal energy by merely focusing and connecting it with the universal energies. Crystals can assist in manifestation, but one must understand the difference between want and need. In manifestation, there is a thin line between helping the universe provide that which is necessary and attempting to force the universe to provide that which is desired. Unfulfilled want is one of the true sources of unhappiness. If one wants something desperately enough and is unable to attain it in one lifetime, they might keep drawing themselves into additional lifetimes until that want is fulfilled. However, need is always fulfilled, as long as it's not blocked by want. Although, of course, one might need to work to fulfill that need as well. It will come. Certain crystals, like citrine, are helpful in manifesting abundance into your life, although in what sense, that is totally up to you. Ultimately, you are the one pulling the experiences of receiving towards you, and as long as you are open to receiving, energy can keep flowing in all aspects of your life. Finally, and this is something I found in one of my favorite crystal books, Love is in the Earth, but I haven't tested it. Supposedly, gasoline mileage has been enhanced by placing a quartz crystal on the carburetor or on the fuel line. Increases of up to 50% have been reported. Mechanical portions of the automobile have also been treated by placing a crystal on or towards the equipment. There has been many reports of crystals that have been placed in automobiles to encourage the protection and safe passage of the drivers and passengers, as well as maintaining the vehicle itself. Whether you're skeptical of crystals or not, you gotta admit there's something absolutely magical about them. And hey, why not just pick up a few just to find out? You won't know until you experience it. To discuss orgonite, first we must discuss the basics of orgone energy. Simply put, orgone is energy. In fact, it's another name for the multi-named etheric energy that is everywhere and embodies all things. Reiki energy, prana, biomagnetic energy, chi, soft electrons, and life force energy are all names for the same thing. An orgone matrix or orgonite crystal device is a device that provides assistance with working with these etheric energies. Orgonite both releases orgone energy when stimulated by other forms of energy, and has the capacity to change orgone energy from one state to another. It is especially suited for dissolving negative energy in an area and converting it to balanced, healthy energy. This makes it especially useful in a wide range of applications, from alternative health, radionics, and other traditional metaphysics. Where did orgonite come from? Well, in the 1930s and 40s, Dr. Wilhelm Reich was able to detect and measure the existence of etheric energy, which he called orgone, using a modified Geiger counter. He determined that by stacking alternating layers of fiberglass, which is an organic substance, and steel wool, an inorganic substance, you could attract and collect orgone energy of both positive and negative polarities. He called the positive energy POR and the negative energy DOR, which stands for positive orgone and deadly orgone. He began constructing a device that was able to successfully heal his patients of various ailments, including various forms of cancer, by having them sit inside the box for periods of time. In 1986, scientists at the University of Marburg in Germany published the results of a blind study, which showed that 30-minute orgone accumulator treatments caused a consistent psychological effect. They published that their investigations displayed evidence for the assumption that the properties of orgone accumulators and its effect on humans factually exists. Reich's work continued into the 60s by a really open-minded Russian scientist named Dr. Nikolai Kozyrev, among others, who also scientifically proved that such unseen energies do exist all around us. This work led to the Soviet military using torsion field sciences in their military defense applications, which shows that amazing discoveries that can change the world can both be used for the light as well as the dark. In continuing this work, modern science has taken it to whole new levels in trying to figure out the nature of dark matter, zero-point energy, and the vacuum flux, and that adding a quartz crystal to the orgonite would cause the orgonite to not just attract all kinds of energy, but rebalance and transmute all of the negative energy into positive. As we learned in Crystals 1, this is because the molecular structure of quartz is incredibly stable and harmonically aligned with the geometry of the universe. Organic substances attract and hold a scalar charge, while metallic substances tend to repel it. Basically, orgonite pulls in bioenergy, and while energy is inside the device, metal particles and organic resin both push and pull on it in all directions at the same time. This puts friction on the energy, where the crystal will begin to create order from chaos by aligning the structure of the energy into a more positively aligned pattern. Crystals and gems all have their uses that we've looked at, and orgonite does too. Orgonite is good for putting in an area that is needing a transmutation of a lot of negative energy into positive energy, and depending on what that situation is, you may need lots or very little. There's actually one final thing I'd like to bring up about orgonite, which is actually called tower busting. It has been widely experienced that the widespread use of cell phone towers create a thick blanket of DOR, or negative orgone energy, around the areas between them. This saturates our homes and communities with negative energies that promote drought, negativity, fear, and so on. I'm not saying that the towers are causing the negativity of the world, but perhaps just stimulating or intensifying it. However, it has been experienced that this can be remedied by placing